Everybody wants a fast car. I mean, the Ferraris, the Bugattis, the McLaren. But as a family man, there's only so much you can do with a fast car. At best, it'll probably get you from point A to point B a whole lot faster than most cars. But eventually, as a family man, you're gonna have to get you a nice SUV that will not only last you a very long time, but it's also gonna be very, very useful with the kids and the wife and all kinds of stuff that you have to do. I hate to compare our beautiful ladies to car, but for lack of a better analogy, I think you get the point. There comes a point in a man's life where he has to decide who is going to take on the ride of life with him. Marriage is no joke. And given the level of seriousness and the weight of glory, I like to say weight of glory because of the responsibility that comes with it, the weight of glory and the responsibility that comes with marriage, it makes absolute perfect sense that you want to find you the best person possible to go on that long journey with you. Welcome to my Darling Bride podcast, powered by Refuge and Fortress Network. It is yours faithfully and sincerely, Pastor Yemi Emmanuel, also known as PY. I have with me on today my brother from another mother, PK, and my partner in life, Mrs. Lonnie O. She was here on last week and she said, you know what? I enjoyed it so much. I love this so much. I gotta come back. You gotta put me on this one. So I'm like, you know what? We'll make it happen. How y'all feeling?
How you doing, everyone?
Hello, everybody. It's good to be back again.
Right?
Awesome.
Yeah. So we're gonna get right into it today because what we got today is a serious one. You feel me? So
Very serious.
if you're yet to subscribe, please go ahead and do so now. Also, don't forget to comment and share this video, this podcast with a friend or two. The Bible says in Proverbs chapter 21, verse 19, it is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and an angry woman. Can I say that again? It is better to dwell in the wilderness than to live with a contentious and an angry woman, because an angry woman and the reason why I had to go there is because marriage for most people is a mark of success.
Yeah.
A mark of, like, you're ready for seriousness, a mark of maturity. It says to you and to the world that you are ready for the next level, that if you can be trusted to lead a home as a man, maybe you can also lead an organization, maybe you can also lead a nation. Are you feeling me?
Yeah.
So marriage to me is a mark of manhood. Like, it is at this point of marriage that we get to separate the boys from the men, the
Absolutely.
girls from the women, you know what I mean?
That's right.
Like marriage is a point where you put somebody else's priority above yourself.
Above yours. Yep.
Are you feeling me? and most of the time, most men, if not all men, have been at this crossroad before where they had options. And when I say options, they had multiple. Do I need to?
You would know.
No.
You would know.
I want my Solomon.
You would know.
Our lineage is Solomon.
They had concubines, if you will.
Me, I don't know anything
You
about that.
With the fifth on that one.
We thank God for Jesus. But every man had options at some point in their life. They had plenty scribbles, if you know what I mean. But when it come down to it, you had to decide who is going to wear the crown, who's going to become your queen, right? And that deciding factor is what we have come to know as wife material.
Yeah.
What makes a wife material? What separates the girlfriend from the wife? What speaks to the soul of the man so much so that he says, you know what? This is the bone of my bone. This is the flesh of my flesh. This is not only the person that's going to wear the crown as a queen in my kingdom. She's the one that I'm going to take home to mama, right?
Yeah.
So, and again, let me just say this. What you consider as a wife material would probably differ from man to man. But I want us to listen to what this lady from what this lady had to say, and it's it's gonna be it's mind blowing because she went hard and she went on and on, but then what the other guy said to her was just like, whoa, okay, let's pause right there and let's talk about this one. Take a listen.
That a woman has to go work like a man every day, and a man goes work and he's tired when he gets home. A woman's not tired. She has to clean, cook, do the dishes, do the laundry. Are you kidding?
Why don't you want to do that?
What are you talking about? Why don't I want to do that? You know how fucking tiring that is? Have you done that?
First of
Have you
all,
done that?
I do it every day.
Fellas, do not choose a woman who don't want to be a woman.
Right.
So you don't want to
Wait,
be a
pause.
woman.
I just
No,
let
you
you
don't
talk.
want to
I
be
just
a
let you
woman.
Yelling doesn't mean you're winning an argument. It's a sign of low intelligence. You can lower your voice and speak to me. I'm sitting right here.
Hit it.
So all this, I cook and I clean, and yeah, that's part of your function. But when your tire is flat, my function is to make sure you have a new tire.
But
When
that's
your
what
car
I'm
need an
saying.
oil change, it's my job to make sure these people ain't ripping you off. We have different duties and functions and responsibilities. And if you don't love your duty, your function, your responsibility, you're not fit to be a wife, period.
Woo! He said, if you don't love your functions and your responsibility, you're not fit to be a wife, period. Wow.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
That's right.
This debate has been going on for years after years after years. Like, there's just always the argument of who's supposed to do what in the
Gender
home.
roles in the house.
You know,
Yep.
we're talking equality now. We're talking about women's right now. We're talking about all these things. But I think we just need to come down to the brass root. Like, what is it? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like the argument continues, and that's why a lot of homes are having issues because they're not being real and honest with themselves in terms of what does your home structure look like.
Yeah.
PK, I'm gonna let you have it before I come in because I'm about to blow your mind.
Well, first of all, may I say that this lady,
You may.
I may.
You may.
May I say that this lady, this woman, is exactly what Proverbs 21:19 was saying about being an hungry woman, because you know, something else is going on, you know, in the back end. But like you rightfully said, this old discussion or this old argument about equality is just, you know, I'm just tired of hearing about it because like you know, just like the response the guy gave, we all have different duties, we all have different responsibilities, but at the end of it all, yes, the women have been given to us as our helpmate. But you know, I think I was listening to another podcast the other day, or probably from the same people. I'm not sure, but I was listening, and it was trying to make an illustration when this whole, you know, equality between a man and a woman came up, and it was like, so who would hopefully I can remember very well. It was like, who would a woman who would you pick as the lead between a woman and the children? The woman said the woman. He said, okay, who would you pick between I think he brought up a scenario, and he said between the man and the wife, who would you allow to take the lead? The lady said, well, the man in that scenario. It was like, okay, between God and the man, who would you take to be the lead? And then the lady said God. So it was, so basically the guy was trying to paint the hierarchy, saying that that God comes first, and then the man, and then the woman, and then the children. The bottom line is, yes, we all have different duties, we all have different responsibilities and all that, but at the end of it all, there's hierarchy, there's levels, there's it's just the equality is there for us to give respect to each other, but the responsibilities are different. I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from with this. So in this scenario, I also love the part where the guy was given a scenario about if you need your car to be changed, or you need the lawn to be mowed, who are you going to call? You're not going to get up there and say, oh, let me do this because it's a ladies thing. We all understand that there are some things that is just what a house. So if you cannot focus on your duties, if you cannot focus on your functions and your responsibility, then you're just not fit to be a woman. You're just not fit to be the wife.
Let me ask you this specific question. I want to ask you specifically because you're a man. What makes a wife material? Let's start there. What makes a wife material?
So first, in that the woman has to be a desirable partner, a desirable life partner. You have to consider qualities like kindness. You have to consider qualities like loyalty. The person has to be supportive. The ability to communicate effectively, and that's just talking about the basis of things. When we talk about whether the lady is a Christian or not, then we talk about their strong faith, their background and all that stuff.
And the reason why I'm asking that question, right, is because the guy, the reason why I'm asking that question is because the guy is saying that if you can't do this, if you can't do that. In fact, even before the guy said what she said, right, one of the other host of the podcast was like, but why would you not
why wouldn't you
right?
do that? Exactly.
And and the guy was like, if you can't do A, B, C, and D, it's like you're not fit to be a wife. I want to ask us this question, right? Did society dictate for us what a wife should be and what a husband should be? Right? When we're looking for wife material, husband material, because it's almost like what that guy was saying was all the things that you just complained about. If you can't do those things, then you're not fit to be a wife. Where did he get that from? Where did he get that the definition from?
I think the thing is, when you take it back to like the beginning of time, it's always been set. I mean, we had to get to a point where we're fighting for women to have rights and equality. But before that, there's always been a structure, a home structure. And it's been like that for thousands of years.
And so that structure, has it be at a disadvantage to women?
So you could say that. Some people could say that yes, because it kind of just painted or minimized the strength or the intelligence of a woman by putting her and saying, this is the place you need to be. You don't need to do anything outside of that. Do you get what I'm saying? So the conversation goes deeper than just washing clothes and doing house chores. It's a matter of, how do you see your wife? Women are smart. Women are powerful. They carry power. You understand what I'm saying? A woman can make or break her home. And the thing is, the issue that I feel like is happening today is everybody's so hung up on the minute of things. They're so focused. Like, if you hear what she's saying, I can't, you go to work, I go to work, I come back and I still have to wash the dishes and wash the clothes and all that. Yes, I understand what she's saying to some extent. Like, okay, I'm tired too. Why don't you help out? That's really what she's trying to get at. It's a different conversation we're talking about. But now that conversation has been blown into, it's not just my responsibility. But if we're to sit down and go back to like the beginning, you know, it's always been, we've been conditioned, we've been made that way. Where it's like the wife or the woman nurtures and takes care of the home. That's just the responsibility that has been given to a woman. Now, does that make her inferior? Does that make her not smart? Does that make her not intelligent? No. But they've put those two things together, that if you're home and you take care of the home, then you can't do anything else.
All right. So can we validate her pain, if we could use that word, because she sounds like she's coming from a pain point, a place of pain. Can we validate her pain by asking this question and saying, she's saying that, okay, you go to work, I go to work, I got to come back home and I still have all these other responsibilities to do. I'm tired, you're not. The man's response back to her was, when you need your tires changed, when you need oil change, when you need A, B, C, and D, who do you call? When you need somebody to hang something up for you, do the lawn and all that stuff like that, who do you call? You call me. You know, if you want to play more so an advocate on her part, I don't like using the words the devil's advocate. I am never going to be the devil's advocate. But if you want to play an advocate more so on her part, you could make the argument that if from the beginning of time, it has been said that a woman does the house chores because she's a nurturer and everything like that, it doesn't make her less than. It's just some of the things that she's stronger at. I remember a teaching that we were doing previously, and we said that let's play whatever, in order to share household responsibility, play to the strength of the person, of each other. Exactly. Whichever one you're good at, you do that. Like, for example, I'm great at grilling, you're not. Yes, it's a form of cooking, but I wouldn't want you on the grill because I'm better at grilling than you are. You understand what I'm saying? So to my strength, that's what I need to do, right? So if we want to go back to grassroots, like you were saying, initially it was that the man would go out to work, bring home the cheddar, right? The woman stays home, manages the man's money and multiplies if she can while maintaining the house. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Now the situation has kind of flipped. We live in a time where two income is needed.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? But then that additional responsibility, I think, is what's pissing a lot of women off, in the sense that in the beginning, this was a clear road that we all had. Now it's kind of changed.
So there was no argument in the beginning.
And there was no argument in the beginning. Exactly. Now there's been more added to my plate and not really more added to your plate as a man. Where's the fairness in that essentially?
I think that's the issue that's happening in a lot of homes today. The conversation, it's not really about whose responsibility is what.
Right.
It's really about times have changed and you got to change with time. The issue is, what kind of people are you guys marrying and getting with? And I'm saying that because everybody's home structure is different. Yes, we understand the roles of the gender, blah, blah, blah. You know how things were in the beginning.
Yeah.
Her pain point, really, and she's mentioning all these things, but her pain point, or what she's really saying, is, I don't have additional help at home in addition to everything else that I'm doing.
Yeah.
What he's hearing her say is, I don't want to do this thing because it's not my job. Two different conversations they're having.
Yeah.
You see what the situation is? Now, it's not like I don't want to do it. I'm just saying it's a lot for me to go to work, come back home, and still do this by myself.
Right.
I need help.
Right.
That's what I would think she's trying to say.
Well, so I understand from that perspective.
Yeah.
That could be something, that could be what she's saying. But also, if you think about what I'm hearing, is I'm doing the same thing you are doing. We're both going to work. Why does it have to be me doing this? Why can't you also do it? there shouldn't be any form of role allocation, appropriation,
gender appropriation
as to who does what.
Yeah.
Because at this point, we're pretty much doing the same thing. And then you come back, you sit in front of the TV, you don't do anything, because after you've done this thing, you think you've done the world.
Yeah.
So yes, I understand from the perspective of PL as to are coming from the place of I need some help.
Yeah.
But the way she was going about it, I think, at least from what I'm hearing, is and and I kind of relate more to this part, because I've heard many females talk about they don't need to be the one doing the dishes. They don't need to cook. We can go out and eat. And even worse argument goes for females that are making even more money than their partner in the relationship. So they feel like they are taking that place of the head, because they're doing bigger. They're doing better than their spouse or their partner.
Right. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So I understand we could see it from those two different sides. I think at the end of it all, yes, we need to. I think we've talked about this in our previous podcast as well. We need to come to an understanding of how can we make our home. The way you run your home is going to be different from the way the next person runs their home, and we just have to come to a discussion or a conclusion as to how can we make this work for us.
It's crazy to think, because I think that this argument actually contributes to a lot of issues that we see in marriage today, from the standpoint of those who are married and want to leave each other, divorce, to the standpoint of those who are yet to be married but don't want to get married.
Absolutely.
Because, for example, we have more women who are saying, I'm not doing what my mom did. I'm not cooking, I'm not cleaning, I'm not doing none of that, right? And then we have more men growing up to become men who are saying, now that I'm ready to settle down, I need a wife, most likely like my mother. Are you following? Most men look at women that represent or emulate their mother, right? Yeah. Because especially if you have a great mom, you grew up with a great mom in a great household and everything like that, and you don't know what to look for in a wife, you look for your mother most of the time.
Yeah.
And nowadays we're having women who are not willing to be that. And so it's becoming, I'm not going to get married. I'm not even going to bother with it, because if I'm going to do marriage, something as serious as this, it's got to be with the right person. And it remains, I would say, unless you guys think it's changed, but I think no matter how old school it is or how old school it sounds, I think it still remains a big deal for most men in looking for a wife material, quote unquote, that you're able to cook, you're able to clean, you're able to do all these things that a woman is, quote unquote, supposed to be able to do. I think even till now, even the most modern men are still looking for that. Am I wrong?
Of course.
So I think I want to tap a little bit into what PL said earlier on about, I don't think it's necessarily an outline of roles or responsibilities that a female or the wife of the house needs to do. PL used the word nurtures earlier, taking care of the home. When it comes, I personally believe that women are very smart, like she said earlier. They are physically and spiritually endowed with a kind of strength that you cannot see in a man, in the sense that they have, God gave them the strength to be able to be the one to kind of dictate the atmosphere of their home, to kind of dictate whether it's going to be a peaceful home or it's going to be a home full of, chaos.
Strife. Yeah.
So, and with that kind of strength comes some responsibilities, comes some things that needs to be done, comes with nurturing the kids, making sure that the kids go to school, making sure that the husband is fine. And for whatever reason that I still don't understand, they're still able to keep themselves in check because they just have this natural grace, that God has given to them. So yes, it might come with what the society has outlined as you have to do A, you have to do B, you have to do C. We've talked and preached about men, helping their wives and making sure that they're involved in the things of the house, but it's just natural for them. A woman that really is prepared, that is prepared psychologically, would not have to argue about some of these roles, some of these things that needs to be done. That's why I love what the guy said when he said, if you are not ready to accept those duties, those functions, those responsibilities, then you are not ready to be a wife. Not that you are not okay as a lady, not that you are not okay as a woman, not that you're not okay as being single, but you have to be ready to accept this grace that is naturally there. You just have to tap into it. And I love the fact that while she was saying what she was saying, a lady right next to her said, well, why don't you want to do that? So that tells you that it is not a thing for all women. There are women that naturally flourish in their space.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to just kind of take it back to what you just asked,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In an effort not to even say, okay, this is the way it's supposed to be, this is not the way it's supposed to be. Let's think about it for a second.
Okay.
The reason why men can sit here and make a statement and say, then you're not ready to be a wife, is because this is what they've seen.
Yeah.
When you look at the home structure from, like I said, from the beginning, forget right, wrong. Let's put that to the side. Forget how it's supposed to be and how it's not supposed to be. People raise their family with that same mentality, and that mentality is passed down from generation to generation. Sometimes you're sitting home, you're making food. The first person you think to call to the kitchen, like, come watch me as I'm doing this, is the woman. You don't think the guy. Maybe later down the line, you're like, okay, let me just train my son too, so that way no girl will use him to shackle. But the first person you're thinking about is, girl, you should know how to do this. It's because that's just the way the structure has been from the beginning. So when you groom people that way continuously from generation to generation, they're bound to think this is the way a wife should be. This is the way a mother is supposed to be. So when you see men saying you're not wife material and they equate it to being the nurturer, being the home take carer, it's because that's the way it's been for thousands of years, whether right or wrong. So you got to understand the mentality or the perception that has been inputted in people from the beginning.
I'm gonna say this, and I think it's gonna help a lot of women understand this. And this came to me by revelation. Really, we're women are too focused on that action of having to clean and cook and all that stuff. Like, they're too focused on the responsibility of that they are actually failing to realize the back end training that comes with that. For example, and I'm glad we have you as a woman here to chime in on this. You're a mother, you have a daughter, you have a son. Like you just said, first thing you think about when you talk about, I want to show somebody how to make rice and stew, for example. The first person you think about is your daughter. You should know how to do this, right? In the training that you're giving her, it sounds like you're telling her, go get water, go make food, go clean the floor, go do this, go do that. It looks like you're making her do chores, work, miniature work,
how to do chores,
right? But really, it's deeper than that. what you're actually training of her is somebody who knows how to take care of not just a home,
Absolutely.
but an organization, if you will. What you're really showing her is how to bring order in a chaotic situation. What you're really showing her is how to be a leader that people look to give solution. I remember even when you were growing up, when we were dating, I think you were young and you were living with your brothers, at the time, and many times they wouldn't know what to do. They would literally go hours hungry before you get back from school, and they would say, "Loni, what are we eating?" I mean, am I lying?
No.
It was dependent on you to figure out what we're going to eat. And when we say what are we eating, they're not just talking about them two alone.
And that's not
They talk
in a brother-sister relationship.
in a brother-sister relationship, right? And they're not just talking about them two alone, they're talking about their friends as well, because everybody was always in the house, right? And it kind of puts you in a position where you have to think outside the box, where you have to learn how to manage a home, not just a home, but manage a group of people and lead them, that when you come home and say, okay, guys, what we're eating is rice. I don't care what you want to say. Today is rice. Rice is rice. There's no argument. They respect your leadership. They respect your responsibility in that you're able to bring order to an otherwise chaotic situation, right? So essentially, what you're doing when you're training the woman to become like this is you're giving her leadership training. Behind the scene, you're training her how to be a leader. Behind the scene, you're training her how to be a nurturer. But what you're really doing is you're training her how to be one who is able to make something out of nothing. You understand what I'm saying? A woman, you can tell a man, for example, look in the kitchen, let's see what we can eat. And he goes there and he's like, I don't see nothing. There's nothing to eat here. There's absolutely nothing. And then a woman goes into the same kitchen, looks at the kitchen and says, I can make this, and we can all eat well right now if I go in there for 30 minutes. What did you see to be able to come with that conclusion? I went in that kitchen. I didn't see nothing. You understand what I'm saying? That same eyes that is being trained, you would take that same trained eyes into any situation at your work, in church, in organizations, in nations, and you say, okay, y'all don't see that there's a solution here. But given the trained eye that you have, you look at that situation, you can say, okay, we can do this, we can do that. You can make something out of nothing. It comes from your nurturing and your training as a woman. Right. You understand what I'm saying? So when I want men to understand, oh my God, I wish this thing would go viral so that more men can listen to it. The reason why is I want men to understand that what you're asking for, you're not asking for somebody to come home and be a slave and just do mini work and clean and cook and be your mother and all that. No. What you're looking for is somebody who has a trained eye to bring order to your chaos, to hold your home together, to bring solution when otherwise there would have been a problem. There are many times I come home and my head is banging. I don't know what to do. And my wife goes, what is wrong? What's going on? And I tell her, I'm just really stressed about this matter. And she was like, maybe what if we do it like this?
What if we do it this way?
In my mind, I'm like, how did you come up with that? How did you just come to that? How did you think about that in your mind that it just made sense to you? But this is what we're saying. A woman will be in the kitchen, bro, PK. A woman will be in the kitchen. She will have 4 different things cooking on that stove at the same time. And none of them will burn.
It's mind-blowing.
None of them will burn. Do you understand the level of precision you must have?
While doing that, still making sure the kids are okay.
Are you following what I'm saying? So we have to understand the power that is in the woman. And I think that when men say they're looking for a wife material,
that's what they refer to.
That's really what they're looking for.
It's not about the chores and what you're doing and all that.
It's not about they're looking for a slave that will take care of them.
Exactly.
And all that. No.
Right.
Because
that's
now
that's why I said they're having 2 different conversations.
When they make statement like that, they're not only thinking about themselves now.
But the issue is, PK, exactly. Now let me ask you this. We have to go. My goodness. All right. you why? I guess the last question I'm going to really ask is why Is it for lack of revelation, lack of understanding? Because what I really want to ask is, why is what I just said hard for most men to articulate? To say, this is what I'm really looking for.
Maybe they don't know themselves either, or they don't see it that way either. Because there's a bunch of miscommunication.
Because the reason why I'm asking that is because if you told a woman I'm asking all that, cooking, cleaning, that's great and wonderful. I would love for you to be able to do that. But really what I'm asking for is if you can do this underlying things that I just said. Do you have that training? Do you have that understanding? I feel like, don't you think as a woman that women will be more receptive of that requirement?
I don't think it is I don't think it is something that they need to put black and white or say out black and white. I think they are looking for something like that. They are not telling you should be this, you should be that. So when they're looking for a wife, someone they could consider a wife material, they are looking at if that person already carries that quality. Are you getting what I'm saying? So they're not asking you, well, I need you to, because if I tell you, for example, that PY, I want you to get me this and get me that and get me that and get me that. Yes, that would be easy because now you know what I want, and then you can give me what I want. And but when you're tired of it, because it is not who you are, it is not what you really want to give me. When you're tired of it, you'll probably begin to lapse in giving me that thing. But when I look at you as, someone I want to choose as my best friend, for example, I want to already see in you, without you telling me, I want to already see it in you that you're loyal to me. I want to already see it in you that you can handle a situation. Like I rightfully said when I was dating my wife, there's so many things, because 95% of our relationship was a long distance, was over the phone. I had to come up with different scenarios by the grace of God to be able to judge who she is, because she's not with me. So she's not next to me to be able to see if I say something wrong or if I do something wrong, I can look at her and see her reaction. I can be able to judge her by the way her body language. I don't see all that. So I had to improvise, and I have to be meticulous about finding different ways as to how to be able to judge different things. So that goes the same way with a man. I don't want to tell you what I want you to be. I don't want to tell you who you should be, because if I do that, yes, you can do that. You can agree with me now so that I can be able to marry you. But then what happens 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the line, and you are not that person that I'm really asking you for. So then it becomes a problem. Then you begin to say, well, I've been doing it for this so many years. I'm tired. But I want to be able to look at you, PY, and say that, oh, yes, without anybody telling me. If I go somewhere and they tell me PY said something about me, I can fully say no. It can't be that person, because I know him, not because he tells me, not because I told him to be this person, but because I know him.
Got you. So most men, they go back to what they know what they're looking for. They don't want to tell you that this is what they're looking for, because then you just give them what they're looking for.
Exactly.
But they want to see what they're looking for. What are you going to say?
I was going to take it. I get what you both just said right now. And that's one angle to even look at it from, right? You don't want to say it. You just want to see it. So that way you're not deceiving me, basically. I think also another issues that's happening in relationships and marriages and homes too is, on the flip side, a lot of these men are not themselves husband material.
True.
So having that expectation
True.
of the woman
True.
is almost far-fetched. Like, I don't want to push it on her.
Hold on.
No,
Hold on.
let me finish my thought. Let me finish my thought before you flip it on me.
No. These are
next time we should have maybe next time we should have 2 women.
Before y'all flip it on me, because y'all gonna get all defensive
Go
now.
ahead.
A lot of them
Uh-huh.
can't really articulate or try to enforce or try to boldly say this is what I want when they themselves are not even living up to the expectation. For example, it's easy for me to take on the responsibility, whatever responsibility that is given to me. Whether it's taking care of the home, it doesn't matter for me. I don't look at it as it could be the way I'm brought up. Raised. It could just be my beliefs. But I don't have an argument about that. I would do the laundry. I would take it as it's my job to take care of my home. Why? Because I know what my husband brings to the table. And the thing is, doing those responsibility doesn't mean I'm doing it. I know in my home, I can't speak for everybody, but I'm not doing it alone. Do you understand what I'm saying? There are times where I can't do some of these things, and without having to say a word, you step up and do them, no question asked. Do you get what I'm saying? You're stepping up to the plate as husband material. So you being able to articulate what you're looking for or what you want.
And you've shown that
it's
even before you got married.
Before you got married, even in the relationship stage, it's been that way. So being able to step up to the plate and take that responsibility. What does it cost me to do the laundry or wash the clothes or take care of the home? Do you get what I'm saying? Shoot, I want to be a trophy wife. My cousins, okay, I want to put my leg up. You bring in the money, I take care of the home. You tell me I gotta stay home, I would do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to enjoy. I want to live soft life. Don't get me wrong. You get what I'm saying? But what I'm just saying is, I don't have to think too much or crack my brain too much or fight this internal battle of, oh, don't make me feel less than, because number one, I don't feel that way. You can't make me feel that way. I know what I bring to the table, and you bring your amount of stuff to the table too. So it's not hard for me to, balance those things out.
And the reason why I said what I said, and
a lot of people this generation are struggling with that.
They are. No, they are. They really are. And this is why we do what we do here on MDB, because we realize that this is something that is a big problem in our generation, and we do the best we can to help however way we can. Because I believe us, our family, PK's family, for example, and some other families that we know, we are like we're bridge repairer, if you will. We're like perfectly placed in the middle. We have this old school understanding, yet at the same time speak the language of the new school. So we have a balance of two understanding, and we're able to bring it front center.
Because we have two extreme ends.
You understand what I'm saying? So, and I believe that's why God gave us this ministry. This marriage ministry is not a joke. But because of our time and we got to go, the reason why I said what I said earlier about the real thing that we're looking for, and being able to articulate that, is because, right now it's an argument. Right now it's are you able to do this? Are you able to do that? Blah, blah, blah. We're still, and the reason why is because we are still in the stage of doing. There comes a stage you get to in life where if you don't want to lift a finger, you never have to lift a finger.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm talking about both men and women.
Oh, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? You get to, and I know this because this happens in Nigeria, for example. I mean, not a lot of people have that luxurious lifestyle here in America. A good amount of people do, because they're multimillionaires and they can do that. But it's easier to achieve the status that I'm talking about in places like Nigeria, for example, where money speaks. And
you don't have to do but they still have this issue.
No, it's not that they still have this issue. Where I'm really getting at is that if I bring you to a situation where you don't have to do these things, I'm still looking for those.
That's what
traits.
I'm saying. They still have the issue of this argument they were having.
Yeah.
So that clearly tells you it is not about the chores.
Physicality of the chores.
Exactly.
It's absolutely not about it.
That.
Because I can strip you of all those responsibilities.
Will
you still be able
to nurture and hold your home together.
To gather.
It's more than just watching.
Are you still able to do all of that? Are you still able to see solution in chaotic and problematic situations? Are you still able to? Yeah, are you following what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you have a trained eye to look at situation that whatever for whatever reason, maybe I'm not saying something as a man, you show up and you were like, oh baby, what about that? I'm like, oh sure. How were you able to see that? Are you still able to give me that? Because the closest training you have, and this is why a lot of women don't understand, the closest training you have, hear me, the closest training you have most of the time is home training. It's really, I mean, parents spend a great amount of time on training their women, the daughters, because they want to prepare them for their own future when they get out there. Why? Let me tell you, let me give us back history and we're going to close and PK is going to come in. The reason is because of this. You spend a lot of time as parents. Back in the day, they used to spend a lot of time on their daughters, right? Because the goal or the idea is that the daughter would eventually go on to become a wife in a completely different compound. Somebody's last name, somebody's home and everything like that. And the moment you leave the home, you become their responsibility over there. You were Oluwatukesi, now you are Oludansi. Now that you are in my compound, you're with me now. You understand what I'm saying? The boy, however, remains Oludansi. You understand what I'm saying? He remains, your brother, for example, remains Oluwatukesi. And that means he's still under the leadership of your dad, still under the leadership of the training of your dad. Whatever he's able to show him, he'll still show him. He will continue to show him even after marriage. And it's even bringing him into the line of things that they've been doing. So the training for the boy really never stops. But there's almost like a deadline for the girl. I gotta show you as much as I can show you before you move on to your own family.
Double down on it.
I gotta double down. I gotta show you faster, quicker, however way I can show you, because and it's so heartbreaking for most women sometimes. Even I've seen people like going to college, for example. Like, have I shown you enough? Have I trained you enough? Have I given you enough to prepare you for the world out there?
Because now we're talking about the structure of the home, who's the head and who's not the head.
Yeah.
In that structure of still using the same family, Oluwatukesi.
Yeah.
Obviously, my dad is the head of the family.
Yeah.
Right? Was the head of the family. Now, the minute I left that and joined Oludansi, he's not the head anymore when it came to me.
Exactly.
You are.
Yeah.
And even he would say, I'm not interfering in your family matter. He's okay, sorry, go talk to our husband. Do you know what I'm saying? Because that structure changes, and now the home training goes from the family home to now your husband. So whatever training you're going to get, if it's
or whatever training you've gotten will determine the level of peace you will have at this your husband. So only really they want
what you oh my gosh.
Oh,
there's just some things is like it doesn't sound as strong in English.
For a fact, I can't wait till when we start a video. Everyone can see your reaction just now.
I mean, so the husband's house is a training ground.
Exactly.
It sounded better.
It doesn't sound as strong in English. That's why.
Oh man, I think we've shared enough for today, man. We gotta go. I'm gonna on Therapy Tuesday, I'm gonna spend more time on talking about what a wife material should look like as a Christian woman. You know, I said earlier that there are multiple things for every man. It differs, right? What you're looking for in a woman differs for every man. And that's why I really don't like getting into the specifics of things, because what I wanted may be different from what you want.
Right.
But there are also some things that are non-negotiables. Right. It doesn't matter who you are. As a kingdom man, there are 5 traits that I'm going to talk about next week that a kingdom man looks for in a Christian woman. No matter who you are, where you're from, where you've been raised, these things are non-negotiables. They're foundational to your marriage. You must have them. So By the special grace of God, I'm going to be talking about that on Therapy Tuesday next week. Please don't miss it for anything. And that is all we have for today.
Thank you. This was a wonderful section. But in case you didn't know, the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, announced actions to promote family unity in the immigration process, consistent with the Biden-Harris administration's commitment to keeping families together. This announcement utilizes existing authorities to promote family unity, but only Congress can fix our broken immigration system. Under current law, non-citizens married to a U.S. citizen may apply for lawful permanent residence through their marriage to a U.S. citizen. However, to apply for lawful permanent residence, many non-citizens must first depart the United States.
Very true.
Wait to be processed abroad, resulting in a prolonged, potentially indefinite period of separation from their U.S. citizen family members, and causing tremendous hardship to all concerned. Consistently, these families live in fear and face deep uncertainty about their future. To address this challenge, DHS will establish a new process to consider on a case-by-case basis requests for certain non-citizen spouses of U.S. citizens who have lived in the United States for 10 years or more do not pose a threat to public safety or national security, are otherwise eligible to apply for adjustment of status, and merit a favorable exercise of discretion. If eligible, these non-citizens will be able to apply for lawful permanent residence without having to leave the United States. This is beautiful.
It is, man.
It is. For more information, go to www.dhs.gov to find out if you are eligible. This is a blessing in disguise for many families. Please find someone to speak to, an immigration lawyer preferably, to find out if you're eligible immediately.
Thank you for that important information. That's actually very helpful.
That's very, very powerful.
Very helpful.
Because like you said, most of the time you had to first leave the country, wait,
that's
and
tough.
sometimes usually a long time before your U.S. citizen spouse can file for you. Now what they're saying is
immigration is, and immigration is crazy right now because
immigration is very crazy right now.
They're still dealing with like 2 years backlog.
Can you imagine? Exactly.
It's crazy.
Exactly. And again, if you have a president in office who's not favorable to immigrants, this might be a much longer process than you would think. So being able to say, okay, on a case-by-case basis, if you're eligible, you can stay with your spouse while they're filing for you. That's huge.
That's huge.
That's huge.
That's important. Definitely check out that website and reach out to an immigration attorney. Okay, as you get ready to enjoy your weekend, happy weekend, everybody. Here is our MDB quote of the week.
Yes.
Happy is the man who finds a true friend, and far happier is he who finds that true friend in his wife.
Talk about it. Who said that?
Frank Schubert.
Frank
said
Schubert.
that.
He said,
That's my boy. That's my boy.
"That's your boy."
Frank Schubert. You know what he's talking about. Happy is the man who finds a true friend, and far happier is he who finds a true friend in his wife.
Can you imagine?
Right.
And that's powerful
That's
because a lot of
powerful.
times your wife is not your friend.
Yeah, and that's
We've seen that a lot.
Mhm.
A lot of we've seen that a lot.
Shows.
You know what I mean? They have a wife and then they have a friend.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing when you have a.
From communion, but what?
Oh no.
And-
All right, let's and that
And
ends
and that's
that's our cue. That's our cue to end.
and that ends
for
the
this week.
episode of today. I hope we've said a tip or two now to solidify your kingdom union, not only with yourself, but also with others, and most importantly, with God on today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And comment down below. Until next time, be the light, be the salt, and remember, all things are possible if you believe.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao, ciao. Hasta ya mañana.